Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is another sit down video, I know. But I was filming a vlog and then I didn't get enough content for the vlog and I was like, I'm not about to turn, it was a whole thing. But I promise next week I have spring break, so I will be doing some vlogs there. So that'll be exciting and exciting to film. I'm gonna go shopping and burn a hole in my bank account, so that's really exciting. So anyways, but today we're gonna be talking about series that I love and I recommend to anyone who breathes near me and anyone who is remotely interested in books. So let's go on. The first series I'm going to talk about is kind of an obvious series. I love it so much and it actually changed my life. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. And it is the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I'm going to give you the full reading order, how you should read them, and all of that stuff, so don't worry. I'm going to try to make it as not confusing as possible. Sometimes it can get a little confusing with this series since they're two separate series, but you read them intertwined, it can get a little confusing, so I'm going to try not to confuse you. We have two series. It is the Addicted series and the Calloway Sister series. Both series have 5 books in them. When you read this series, you start off with Addicted to You, then you go to Ricochet, and then you go to Addicted for Now. So those 3 books are in the Addicted series. The first 2 books are in Lily's point of view only, and then the 3rd book, Addicted for Now, is in Lily and Lo's point of view. So you get dual point of view in that, which always love dual point of view. Love it. When you start the series, you read those 3 first, but do not continue the Addicted series. You then hop on over to the Calloway Sister series and read Kiss the Sky, which is Rose and Connor's first book. And then after that, you read Hot House Flower, which is Reich and Daisy's. So far, if you've made it this far in the series, you've read 5 books. Then after you finish Hot House Flower, you go back to Thrive. Thrive is an interesting book because it basically just recaps everything that happened in the Calloway Sister series. So that's what Thrive is. Then after Thrive, you go to the last book in the Addicted series, which is Addicted After All. And after you read that, you're done with the Addicted series. Like, that's it from Lily and Lo's point of view for now. Hopefully this isn't confusing. I feel like it's not confusing because I can see it in my brain, but if you've never read the series, it might be a little confusing. But I'm going to put pictures up in here and all that stuff, so don't worry. After you read Addicted After All, you go back to the Calloway Sister series and read Rose and Connor, and then you read Long Way Down, which is Reich and Daisy. Which Long Way Down is the best book in the series, in my opinion. So you now have finished all of their individual books, like couples. So you finished Lily and Lo, you finished Reich and Daisy, you finished Rose and Connor. Then at the end, there's Some Kind of Perfect, which is the last book, the 10th book in the series, which is the epilogue novel of all of the characters. So you have Reich, Daisy, Lily, Lo, Rose, and Connor's point of view all in that book, and it's a nice wrap up. I love this series so much. I literally recommend it to everyone. It's the first time while reading romance that I genuinely forgot I was reading. I was so encaptured by these people's lives. Like, I literally talk about them as if they're real because they feel real. Like, I don't know what kind of crack was put in these books, but they literally feel so real. Like, sometimes I forget they're not real. And I'm like, wait, that didn't actually happen. Highly recommend you read it. I love it. Like, oh my god, I love it so much. Like, I literally think about it all the time. Like, these characters are so well developed and like so real. Like, this series is not like, if you don't like character driven books, I really would not recommend this series. This series kind of sometimes has no plot. Like, within the 500-page books, sometimes there isn't really a plot, and I was never bored, but that's just because I love character driven books. I like seeing progress in characters and all of that stuff. And if you don't really like that, if you just like, let's get to the plot, let's get to the conflict, let's get to the resolution, let's wrap it up, then I wouldn't really recommend this series because it kind of takes 10 books to wrap things up sometimes. So if you really think you're gonna like character driven books, this series is for you. And if also you want to invest in the series, it's 10 books, it's quite expensive, so it's an investment. I would, maybe test out the books. I didn't. I just bought 3 at a time and said, let's go. Because I just knew I would love this series, and I really did. Highly recommend it. We're going to stop talking about that one because I talk about it all the time. Okay? So next we're going to talk about another one I always talk about, and I need to stop. The Boys of Tommen series. This series is ongoing, so it's not completed. We only have 3 books out. The first 2 are Johnny and Shannon. Shannon comes from a very troubled household, so I would recommend trigger warnings for this. It's not a light book. It has some very traumatic and graphic scenes, so I would beware of that. Just letting you know. These books also take place in Ireland, so sometimes there are like confusing like words that are used, but it's not that confusing. The only thing that confuses me are the school system. I don't really understand it, and that's just on me. Like really don't get it, but it doesn't like affect me that much when I read it, so I didn't really care. Johnny is like the star rugby player in their school. Shannon obviously comes from a very bad home life, and she's very shy and all that stuff, so it's like shy girl, outgoing boy, I guess. I don't really know. But I love their books. They're quite lengthy, so I would beware of that, but so worth it. Like their books are so good. Like I gave them both like almost 5 stars. I think I gave them both 5 stars actually. Like they're just so good. The third book is Saving Six, which is Joey, who is Shannon's brother, so he obviously comes from a really bad household. That's him and Aoife's book. It's kind of like a friends to lovers, their relationship. Friends to lovers, I guess. I don't really know how to describe them. It's kind of confusing. They'll have another book coming, Redeeming Six, that comes March 31st. So the reading order for this one is Binding 13, Keeping 13, and Saving Six. And when Redeeming Six comes out, that would be the next one. That's the reading order. So that's the Boys of Tommen series. This series also made me feel the exact same way Addicted Calloway did. It's the first time since I read Addicted Calloway that I felt all these emotions, like they're real people, and I was just so like invested. Regardless of the size of these books, I never wanted it to end. Like I was just so interested and invested, and that's what a good author does. Like I don't know how they do this, but like it's so good. Highly recommend it. I'm gonna stop talking about those 2 because I talk about them all the time. Okay, next series I'm gonna talk about is a series I haven't talked about on my channel yet. Like I just feel like I haven't talked about them, and I love them so much, and I don't know why, but it is the Eden series by Devney Perry. This series, if you like small town romance and you haven't read this series, you need to go do it right now. And I mean, that's not a request, that's an order. Okay, because this series is so good. It's what got me to love small town romance. I love it so much. Like I literally can't even describe to you how much I love this. Like I really don't know how to tell you. I really don't. Eden's series starts out with Indigo Ridge, which follows Griffin Eden, who kind of runs his family ranch, and Willow is the chief of police in town in Quincy, Montana. This all takes place in Quincy, Montana. And something happens on Knox's ranch, and basically Willow has to go investigate. Winslow, I don't know why I call her Willow. Her name's Winslow. Winslow has to go investigate, and their romance starts from there. So this one's like grumpy Ronas. He's grumpy. He doesn't really like her at the beginning. It's kind of a mystery. There's a subplot of mystery in there, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was an interesting part of the book. And yeah. So then after that book, we go to Juniper Hill, which follows Knox and Memphis. Knox is a chef in a restaurant that's like kind of attached to the Quincy Hotel, which the Edens also own, because they like kind of own this entire town, which I love that for them. So Knox is a chef, and Memphis is a single mom, and she comes to work at the hotel, and she needs a place to stay, and Knox's like apartment slash garage, she moves in there, and it's forced proximity, single parent. That's that. This one was definitely the best of the series, hands down. Like it was so good. The third book is Garnet Flats, which follows Talia Eden and Foster. This is a second chance romance. Talia is a doctor in Quincy's hospital, and Foster is a fighter, like a boxer, an athlete, if you will. And they used to date. Something happens, you figure that out, and this is a second chance romance. This one was not my favorite. I didn't really like Foster. I was like, not into it. He didn't do it for me. I was like, okay, am I supposed to be rooting for him? This one was like, I could have done without, but it still was good. Like, I wouldn't skip over it. It was still good. You got to see the other characters, which you love. So it was okay. But then you move on to the fourth one, which I just read and finished yesterday. It's Jasper Vale. This one follows Eloise Eden, who's the manager of the Quincy Hotel. I don't know why I call it Quincy Hotel. It's actually called the Eloise Inn, but we have Jasper Vale, who is Foster's trainer from Vegas. And while they were in Vegas one time, Eloise and Jasper got married. Hello? Like, hello. So it's like a marriage of convenience, because they stay married for like reasons that you figure out in the book. It's marriage of convenience mixed with Devoney Perry's writing, mixed with small town romance, and that sounds perfect to me. And they all the men kind of like have this, like kind of have money. Low-key, they kind of have money. So it's also like kind of like a money's not an issue. Like, I'd pay some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why, but Jasperville just like was so good. Like, the marriage of convenience, like, I did not expect to love this one as much. I was like, I'm not gonna like Eloise's book. That's gonna make me upset because I like Eloise as a character. No, loved it. Jasper also was doing it for me. So I would recommend reading the Eden series. It is what got me into small town romance, and I haven't left. I'm currently reading All Roads Lead Here by Marina Zapata, another small town romance. So someone please help me. I'm like stuck in this small town romance era of my life, and I'm not complaining. But like, is it getting concerning? Maybe. We're gonna move on to the second last series that I'm gonna talk about. It is none other than the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I love this series, and I'm going to talk a lot about certain books in the series, and it's gonna get a little intense. Let's just be honest. But we're gonna start off talking about it with the first book. This is Twisted Love. This one follows Alex and Ava. Alex is like a billionaire. He like runs a company, I think. I can't remember what type of company. And this is brother's best friend. So that's like the trope of this one. Billionaire, obviously he's very grumpy. But yeah, I did not enjoy this book as much as I thought I would. Alex is much better in the other books in the series than his own, which I find really interesting. Anna Huang didn't do him justice in his own book. I didn't really care about him in his own book. So that's interesting. But once you get through this one, you go to the best book. And I promise you I'm not lying. You go to book 2, which is Twisted Games. This follows Reese and Bridget. Bridget is a princess about to turn queen. So we have that. And Reese is her bodyguard. Yeah. I know. Like, I don't understand. Like, Anna Huang put this second, and it just never, like, no other book compared. And this couple, the crawl scene, if you know what I'm talking about, that chemically altered something in my brain. Like, I was not the same after I read that. And I was like, wow, I think I'm learning a lot about me. I think I'm learning a lot about myself. And right now you're learning a lot about me, and I don't know if that's too intimate for you, but like, I was like, and Reese is the best twisted man, and I don't take any criticism to that. He is also grumpy realness. They're all kind of grumpy, all of these men. So look forward to that. Then we move on to Twisted Hate, which is Jules and Josh. Jules is a lawyer, Josh is a doctor, and Josh is Ava's brother. So it's best friend's brother trope. And they hate each other. They don't like each other, which is why it's called Twisted Hate. Get it? Get it? Yeah. So this is the third one. And then you move on to Twisted Lies, which is the fourth and final book in the Twisted series. This follows Stella and Christian. Stella is a social media influencer, and Christian, CEO of a security company. So he's also a billionaire. Hi Christian. Like, hello, give me a chance, please. She lives in the same building as him. So that's that also. And she also needs a fake boyfriend for her like social media because her account's kind of stagnant, so she needs to like have a fake relationship, and none other than Christian Harper comes and saves the day. And there's also like really like intense stuff in here. Like, it gets intense during the end. I was like, oh my god. But nonetheless, This couple's my second favorite. I'll tell you my rankings after. But yeah, this one's really good. One of the best books in the series, I'll tell you that. For relationships, I'll tell you. Reese and Bridget are first, obviously. Then it goes Christian and Stella. Then it goes Alex and Ava. And then it goes Josh and Jules. That's my relationship. And book-wise, here's book-wise. These two are tied because I can't choose. I can't choose. Then it goes Twisted Love. No, lies. I just lied to you. Then it goes Twisted Hate. And then it goes Twisted Love. This is the reading order, what I'm holding up right now. Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. That's the reading order. So yeah, if you're getting into reading, I would recommend this because it's very fast-paced, not completely character-driven, but you will fall in love with all the characters and you'll like them as a friend group at the end. The epilogue in Twisted Lies was everything I wanted and more. I absolutely loved it. And Anna Huang does Billionaire Men so well. So yeah, this series is really good. Highly recommend it. Read it. Last series I'm going to be talking about is none other than Lauren Asher's Dreamland Billionaire series. There's 3 books in this series. I feel like I've talked about them a lot, so I'm going to go relatively fast. This series follows brothers, but they're all billionaire, and they kind of, their family like owns Disneyland equivalent. Like in the books, they basically own Disneyland. Like that's like the vibe of this. Their grandfather leaves a will, and each of their books they have to fulfill that will in order to get the money that he left them. So in this book, fine print, it follows Rowan and Zara. Zara is the love interest. She works for him as like a designer, I think. Yeah, she does something like that. And so it's a workplace romance, billionaire obviously. And I think he was left to become CEO. Pretty sure, right? And this book is Grumpy Sunshine, like really grumpy. Second one is Terms and Conditions. This follows Declan and Iris. Declan was left to get married from his grandfather's will. He had to get married. So it's marriage of convenience, forced proximity, and also it's like workplace also because she used to work for him and that's why she like married him. So good. Grumpy Sunshine as well. Then we have the last one, which is The Final Offer. This one just came out. This follows Cal and Alana. This one, he's not grumpy, so he's like the sunshine in the scenario. It's second chance romance, small town. He was left to sell this house that she lives in. She also owns half the things, so they kind of have to like come to an agreement about the house and all that stuff. I love Cal. Like, he is my man. That's your man? Yeah, that's my man. That's the reading order. You go fine print, terms and conditions, and final offer. Just 3 books. But yeah, those are all the series I'm going to talk about. Those are some of my favorite series. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some clarification on reading orders and stuff. Hopefully it was helpful listening to me talk about some of my favorite series. I love reading series. It's one of my favorite things to read. I don't know why, but I love just growing attached to characters and watching their progress throughout other books in the series, especially when they're like interconnected standalones. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, I really enjoyed talking about them. Comment below some of your favorite series if I didn't mention them, or if you also love the same series, comment below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more of my face. I promise I'm gonna post some other vlogs and stuff and not just sit down videos. It's just the easiest thing I can do in my dorm. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.